Alright guys, welcome to part 2 of how to set up OBS and your DAW so that they both work together so you're able to live stream an instrument such as drums, a trumpet, any type of percussion, whatever it is that you want to pop a microphone on and you want to get the best audio possible for your viewers. You came to the right place. Alright, so in part 1 I told you, hey, go over there and get some software, okay? Again, this is only from what I have and what works for me. So mileage may vary, of course, but let's drive on. So I told you to go out there, pick up Reaper. Reaper is an awesome DAW. It's free. I think you get like 60 days with it that you can use, and then after that they say, hey, you know, please support us. So again, if Reaper is working for you after that point, you know, go ahead and support the developers, okay? I told you to pick up ASIO Link Pro. This is also free. When you get the free version of this one, though, after like a minute, it blocks out some sound for like 5 or 10 seconds, whatever it is, and then it keeps working. So you don't have to buy this right away. So if you get this to work for you, and at the end you're like, nice, this is really awesome, then go ahead and pay the money. And it's a really great program. And then we're assuming that you have the Focusrite 18i20 audio interface. I have the 2nd generation, and of course it comes with Focusrite Control, this software right here. I'm also assuming you got OBS, and that's pretty much it. That's all the software you're going to need. Okay, so first things first, this video is really going to be focusing on Reaper and how to get all the settings good to go, okay? Probably in a later video, I'll go into some more detail about ASIO Link Pro if people are asking for it, or for Focusrite Control, again, if people are asking for a little more detail. There's plenty of videos out there that talk about Focusrite Control, okay? So I might just even link one of those videos in the description down below where they explain everything beautiful. I'll give you the bare bones, but if you want more details, look up some other stuff out there. As for ASIO Link Pro, there's not many videos out there. But if you follow what I'm telling you to do here, you should be good to go. But again, if you need more videos, more info, questions, etc., just comment down below, ask me. I'll throw together another video if I think I can help somebody. We'll get you squared away, okay? All right, so first things first, Focusrite Control. You're going to go here. You're going to go to Device Settings. You're going to go to Sample Rate, and you're going to either choose 44 or 48. If you feel like you got a system that's really strong, you got an awesome CPU, a lot of RAM, etc., go for 48. OBS supports both. I go for 44, and it works just fine. Clock source, you want to keep it on internal. And as for the output routing, the only thing that you're going to want to worry about here is that monitor outputs 1 and 2. This is the most critical one, okay? Basically, Windows operates on 2 channels, okay? 1 and 2, all right? So that's how Windows decides to output all of its audio. It's either coming through 1 or 2, okay? And if you notice over here, again, this is a little bit of a sidebar thing. You'll notice that in Link Pro, we got channel 1 going down to 1, and this is actually your DAW right over here, okay? This over here is your Windows noise, okay? And in order to test this and prove this, you're going to see it pop up over here and here as soon as we test it. So I'll just show you this real quick. All right, so we'll just click this. It's probably going to be very loud or not at all. Oh, yeah, it's there. Okay, I have it turned down pretty low in OBS, so it shouldn't sound too bad. But again, this is where all your Windows noise is coming through. And if you notice right over here, it pops up every time we're clicking it. We'll do it one more time. Okay, and if you notice right up here, this is where your Windows, all of your Windows sounds originate, okay? Is up on this top portion here. This is where your video games are, etc. And if you notice, it's coming out of both 1 and 2. Okay, again, one last time. 1 and 2. But we want to use 1 for our DAW. So we only have half of Windows coming out. I know it might be kind of confusing, but that's pretty much how it works. We're running out of 2 channels. Let me give a quick rundown on ASIO Link Pro before we hop into the DAW itself. Okay. So right here, these are all your microphones. Okay, this is where they originate from. Anytime, this is the raw signal that is going into your DAW comes from here, or it goes from the microphones into your DAW. ASIO host in-mix. Again, this is what is getting processed in your DAW. Okay. So it gets processed and it comes from, okay, we'll say it as if it's a snare drum. You hit the snare drum, it comes from here, it gets processed in your DAW, it comes over to here, and this is where the all of these signals originate. This is the master bus right over here in Reaper, and this is what is coming out that you are actually hearing, and this the Pro Mix Out is what we select in our OBS. Okay? I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, please like re-watch this a couple times. Okay? And if you notice, here is your DAW. And again, this is what people are hearing in OBS. Okay? All right. So now that we've pretty much established all of this, I think there's one. I'm not sure if I cover this or not. Please forgive me if we're covering it again, but you're going to want to open up the tool, okay? So go down to your search and type in ASIO Link Pro tool. The only thing that you're going to want checked here are these two. You're going to want the auto set to you want to have this checked off for your audio wave format and for your default audio device. Check those two off. For your channels, I just put it at 16. I mean, really, we could go up to 64, but I don't need that many. And then this, you want to have it as your device preferred, okay? Which, again, is going to end up referencing this guy right over here. If you want, you probably could put 44 or 48, depending on what you chose. Again, just make sure that they're all lining up and they're all the same. But if you keep it on preferred, it's just going to reference everything else. Okay. So now that you have all that taken care of, oh, and the cool thing about this, by the way, is you can route stuff all over the place. You'll just click over one of these, and you could drag it to like anywhere. It doesn't matter. So it's really cool, and you can do this for many different devices. Also, you're gonna need to have enable multi-clients checked off. Okay. I like to have the show audio flow. If you don't, it just removes everything. You don't really see where your lines are going over until you hover over stuff. Okay, so if you just want to see everything, just keep it check marked. That's up to you. It's personal preference. Okay, once you get this all situated, you're just going to go over here and you're going to save this and call it whatever you want, okay? I have this called This Works Maybe because I did over 80 hours of testing easily on all this stuff to get it to working. And that's just my it's just my cynical, sarcastic sense of humor. All right. That aside, make sure you save that profile because if something happens, you can just go load it up and it's going to pull this up and it's going to save you. Trust me. All right. Let's see. So we talked about both of these devices. Let's talk about Reaper. Let's go over to our settings. So you're going to want to go to Options. You're going to want to go to Preferences. Okay. Once you're in Preferences, let's go all the way up. You're going to want to go to Audio, and under Audio, you're going to want to click Device. Now, if I click this, it's going to disable all of my audio, and everything's going to go silent. So I'm going to pull up a picture of the settings that you want to have. Okay, so when you click Device, this is what's going to pop up. I could explain this, but suffice it to say, you're going to want to copy the settings here. Okay, audio system, of course, you want to use the high quality sound. You want to get ASIO, so select that. For the driver, you're going to see you can either select your audio interface or you can select ASIO Link Pro. Now, again, remember, your DAW and OBS are not talking to each other. Okay, so we need a bridge. We need to make sure that those are both getting connected so they can talk to each other. And in order to do that, we're using this guy right over here, ASIO Link Pro. Okay, so you're going to want to select that. You want to check off Enable Inputs, and I decided to do 1 through 10. That's right over here, 1 through 10. On the Focusrite 18i20, you have 8 different microphone inputs that you can put in. There's also more if you want to plug in like a guitar or, you know, a bass or something like that, a keyboard. You got MIDI stuff on there, etc. But suffice it to say, for drums, I just use 8 different microphones, and this is all where they are. So under your device settings, again, 1 through 10. For request sample rate, you want that checked off. And again, you want that number to be the same thing that you're choosing all over the place, either 44 or 48. This bad boy right over here. And yeah, that's pretty much all you're going to need for this portion of the audio settings, okay? So, next thing you're going to want to do, you can scroll all the way down. Go to plugins, and you want to go to compatibility. All right, so Reaper does an awesome job with 64-bit plugins, okay? But some of the older plugins that are out there, like 32-bit plugins, can have a bit of a... Sometimes they can get kind of broken, or they don't really work as well. So in order to make sure that they're going to work, you want to go over here to the VST bridging and firewalling, okay? And you want to have automatic bridging when required. It's the top one right here, okay? That's pretty much all the settings you're going to need and preferences to get this going. The rest is all going to be on routing and inputs and outputs and monitoring and plugins, effects, and all that stuff. We're going to talk about it. Okay. So for this portion, once you have this, right, just click, I'll go through all the settings actually. Let's go through the settings first. All right, so I'm just going to scroll through in case you're wondering, like, man, I really wish he covered this topic instead because I don't have these settings. So in case you are wondering, this will answer all your questions, okay? I can't remember certain stuff that I changed, So I'm just going to go through all of them. And if you see something that you're like, hey, what does he have under, you know, project or track and send, whatever, these are my settings if you want to mimic them. But again, mileage is going to vary on every system. And again, of course, if you ever have a question for anything you see here, just shoot a comment, find me on Twitch, whatever. Just get in contact with me, post something where I'll see it, and I'll do my best to get back to you, okay? It might result in me just making another video if a lot of people are asking the same question. And, you know, sometimes a video is the best way to explain things. So after we cover all these settings, we'll spend a few minutes talking about routing, and then in the DAW itself, and how you do each of your individual tracks. And after that, we'll be all set. The next video that's going to follow, we're going to be talking about OBS and what are the settings that you need inside of there to make sure audio-wise your stream is good to go. I'm not going to talk about how you get your stream smooth, etc., but I will talk how you get the audio to come through nice and smooth. Okay, so now that we've gone through all the settings here and you've seen them all, let's talk about these channels, okay? Now, the channels here, first things first, you need to have this on. If this is off, you're going to see no signal comes through and my voice is going to go silent. So we'll test it right now. And then as soon as I turn this on, you hear my voice, but when I turn it off, you're not going to hear it anymore. That's what's happening. 1, 2, 3, 4, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. So you get the idea. You need this on. Routing. Everything has to go to the master. Nothing else should be checked off. You want to make sure this is on record output, and this goes down to mono latency compensated. That's important. Put it on this one, okay? You want this latency compensated. Otherwise, some stuff is going to be very far out of whack. Record monitoring on. This is a must, okay? Keep this on. You want monitor input, and you also want preserve PDC delayed monitoring, okay? This is very important as well, okay? Pretty much everything we're doing to these tracks is making it so they all get synchronized and they're all coming out at the same time. You don't want one track recording quicker than another and some plugins working. We're trying to put everything on the same page, okay? If you want to see the summary of all the stuff that we went through over here, you're just going to right-click this. So you could do it through here as well. The only thing that's different that we didn't cover was input mono, and you want to make sure it's under that respective channel that the track is. Meaning you got track 8, so you got microphone 8, etc. You want to make sure that, hey, it's only the input from that channel. Okay. Last thing to talk about is going to be this guy right here, your effects. So with effects, we'll do it down here. You got a whole bunch of stuff into Reaper, okay? Actually, you know what? Let's go to this one. Let me bring it over in a second. Okay, so over here, the way Reaper does their effects, their VSTs, and everything else is they do the top down. So my EQ is going first, then my compressor, and then reverb and all that other stuff, okay? So just remember that it goes from the top down. I have found that if you're trying to use this plugin, it's going to jack everything up for reverb. So, but you end up going to this one right down below, and you can get the same exact result. You get reverb, and it doesn't mess up your delay and everything. I don't know why this is, but somehow that's what worked for me. So I would use this if you're looking for reverb from a default VST. Okay. All right, so, we need to talk about one last thing, and that's the master. Okay, you can put effects on your master as well if you want to do a final EQ. I have them on here, but they're not enabled. It's up to you if you want to put them on, but I should probably take them off. I don't use these. But the big thing here, you want to right-click the output, okay? By default, Reaper is going to want to put this out to output 1 and 2. You don't want this, okay? Because 1 and 2 is going to screw things up when it comes down to OBS. All right? And pretty much what this does, in fact, this might screw up the audio a little bit, but we're going to try it anyways. When we do this, you're going to notice in ASIO Link Pro right over here, all of a sudden, remember, Windows works off of two channels, 1 and 2. So all of a sudden, my microphone is going to be coming through both channels as opposed to one. So check it out. Okay, so now we're talking, and it's coming through double. And if the audio's screwed up, I apologize. Okay. That's really important to pay attention to. Okay, I need to fix it. Because if you also notice, when the input's coming through, this over here in Focusrite Control, this is your DAW only. This little box right here, software playback. Make sure you put this thing to stereo, okay? And you're going to get two channels here, okay? This one is your DAW, and this is your Windows sound right over here. And we'll show you right now. So we click it, and sure enough, it's coming through right over here, okay? That shows you that we have our audio separated. When you go to the master routing, and if you put this to both channels like Reaper has it on by default, you're going to notice it's coming through double, and the audio is probably going to sound screwed up. Okay, so you want to keep it on this. And to prove that this all works with OBS, we're going to do a little streamception right here, and you're going to see. Okay, so we got the good old streamception going. And again, this one right here, this is the microphone I'm talking into. It's coming over here in ASIO Link Pro. I got the signal down here. It's coming out through my DAW, so I know it's all working. Here it is as well. And of course, this is where it originates from. It's raw signal. When it's processed, it comes down through here. And again, to show you where the master bus can screw things up, go over here. All of a sudden, it's coming through both. You actually probably won't hear anything through this portion, so let me do one more thing here. Okay, now you're going to notice that the Windows, all the noise is coming through here. Okay, check it out. You see it? It's coming up over here. It's coming up over here, number 2. And it's coming up right through here, desktop audio. Okay? All right, so that's it in a nutshell. Sorry the video took a little bit longer than I wanted to. I might break this up a little bit, but probably not. We need a long video. All right, so if you got any other questions about stuff, again, comment down below, get in contact with me somehow. Twitch is usually the best way when I'm streaming, but I don't really have a consistent schedule because of work. So I would say, I don't know, good luck. Just comment on this video and I'll find it. Next video, we're going to talk about some OBS stuff and how to make sure your OBS audio settings are good. And we're going to talk about latency and how do you fix that amongst all the different stuff. All right, take it easy.